and welcome to our creative writing show for the spring of 2015. And I would like to thank all of you for your support and for taking time out of your day to come out here and watch what these students have put together. And this really proves to them how much you care for them and how much their voice is very important. The works you're going to experience today are all original pieces. They have been created by these students during the creative writing class. They have written literally hundreds of pieces. And some days, they'll come in and we'll give them an assignment and they're just like, really? You want us to do this? You want us to write more? We just wrote 4 things for you and now you're asking for more. But all of their work has been excellent. They have went above and beyond what anyone has asked of them. And I recently read an article by NASA astronaut Mae Jemison in which she discusses the importance of creativity in all aspects of life. Jemison states, all great inventions, without exception, are based on ideas, abstracts, and creativity from years before. These wonderful creative ideas that are always percolating in the minds of these young adults will one day be the driving force of our society. The human creativity that allowed us to conceive, build, and launch the space shuttle springs from the same source as the imaginative works that you're going to hear today, the creative mind. And I now introduce Paradox, Control, and Chaos.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paradox, Control, and Chaos. Thank you for making your way here to see our performance. It means a lot to each of us. The show is in no way linear, and the format will be unfamiliar, but stick with us, and you may just be surprised. Our show is a product of months of collaboration. Over the semester, we've become a team, and we're there to support one another. Our class has worked very hard to pull together this show for you. We allowed our minds to boil over with creativity, and this is what we have to show for it. We have written many pieces, but only a handful made it into the show. The works you're going to see are original, each piece unique in its own way. So sit back, relax, and prepare yourself for a one-of-a-kind performance.
This court will come to order. We are hearing the case of the establishment versus creative writing. The charges are unseemly thinking, self-expression, and unsanctioned public performance. The sentences, when the defendants are found guilty, are a lifetime of silence and conformity to the status quo. The jury awaits your defense. How do you plead?
Guilty as charged.
Not guilty.
Do not trifle with this court, or we will dispense with the defense altogether. You profess guilt as a whole?
Yes.
No.
Yes, Your Honor, we do, but we request the opportunity to present evidence before the jury. Truthfully, we challenge the very premise of the charges. Creative writing is not a threat, but rather a gift. We believe creative writing may be valuable, and not to just ourselves, but to society as a whole.
I am skeptical, but you may continue. The jury's decision will be forthcoming, and it will be final. Present your defense.
Your Honor, I'd like to say something without being screamed at. I'm not very fond of screaming. Okay. Coming from a personal experience, I don't know why you're even letting us defend ourselves. We're going to be found guilty no matter what, so what's the point? But you think you're so sly, don't you? It's funny how you think people will just conform to this. But, I have a little something to tell you. This is never going to work. Or maybe that's not your intention. Anyone who disobeys dies, right? Well, just because I'm such a good person, I'm going to give you a little heads up. They'll never conform. Freedom is something worth fighting for, and you better believe they're going to fight for it. So without further ado, yours truly pleads insanity. Have fun with your dying society. Toodaloo.
I plead not guilty. I was told to write these stories by none other than Mr. Boyd. He is to blame for this creative catastrophe. I was framed. Mr. Boyd blackmailed me with a bad grade if I did not conjure these writings. He also continued this pattern to the rest of the creative writing students. So it is not I who is at fault, Your Honor. It's the teacher. We had to write day and night, thinking up stupid stories and scribbling them down. It's hard to imagine characters, give them a story and whatnot. He's already fooled the others into thinking they're guilty. So who do you think is truly guilty? Not I.
Her mother warned her about dreams in reality. Many things can go wrong, but she never listened. Every day of the week, every hour, every minute, every second, her head was in another place. She believed all this nonsense came up when her husband had died. Poor little Alice was devastated, and from the funeral on, she was never quite right. She tried to talk to her, to understand, but little Alice never uttered a word. As she got older, she became more obsessed with these dreams of hers. She'd disappear for hours on end and ramble about rabbits with watches, white and red roses, and a very strange man known to Alice as Hatter. But the 23rd of May was vastly different from the others. She ran into the house, mumbling very strange things along the lines of, "I have to slay the Jabberwocky. The White Queen will reign." Alice ran out of the house before she could ask any questions. Little Alice running to save the only sane life that she knew. "I have to slay the Jabberwocky. The White Queen will reign." My feet pounded against the grass, knowing where to go without interference from me. The black hole came into sight, and I plummeted down. The familiar sights of the upside-down chairs, clocks, mirrors, and the constant flurry of color calmed me for a short while. All my good memories have started here, and to think, this will all be gone if I don't fix it. I must slay the Jabberwocky. The White Queen will reign. As I landed, I bolted over to the table, key to my world in hand as I drank the foul-tasting liquid. I ran to the door, my height no bigger than a fly, and slipped the key in the lock. The door swung open, and the beautiful sights of my childhood greeted me. Little Alice running to save her wonderland.
And now, a word from our sponsor. Have you ever wanted to be a part of your own Airship Katarina? Well, now you can. Introducing the new Airship Katarina playset. Create your own adventures as you pilot the Airship Katarina around the ruins of not only North America, but also the entire globe, including figures of the crew. Maria, Elliot, Sarah, James, and the entire crew are at your command. This is a limited time offer, so call now. Dial 1-800-555-5555 to order your Airship Katarina playset now. Call now and we'll include a special edition captain's log. Write down and share the adventures that you create with your crew. Once again, call 1-800-555-5555 to order your playset now. Batteries not included. Other parts and sets sold separately. Must be 18 years or older to order.
I am Lily, the captain, and I am very lonely.
I am Asia. I am Maria, the first mate. I started this revolution.
I'm Lena, and I'm James, the journalist, and I've never made the front page of the newspaper.
I am Devin. I'm also Jared, the wise yet old philosopher.
I'm Aspen. I'm Harley, and I do whatever I can to survive.
I'm Sarah, and I am Trevor. And you're not supposed to know who I am.
I am Jessica and Sarah, the navigator. I guide our way through the vast unknown.
I am Rachel. I am also Chris, the time traveler, and I have traveled through time to be here today.
I am Marshall. I am Elliot the scientist, and I am perfectly incomplete.
I am Tori, and I am Riley, the communicator. I have so many promises, but so little time.
was a normal Sunday night. I was putting my daughter Katerina to bed. She asked me to tell her the story about the rebels and their adventures that happened on the ship she had been named after. Now this is the story of the Katerina.
I came to Ascala because I knew things were going to get dirty back at the government.
My name is Maria. I have a gift. I can manipulate people's thoughts and emotions. The government wanted me to come work for them once I graduated high school. I ran away and met up with some of my colleagues. We salvaged an old airship. We named it the Katerina. Lord knows why. We set out with the idea, and a few crew members. We knew we needed more people to help us, so I came up with the idea of going to Apple Banks. We set off for our trip the next day.
The journey was a treacherous one. We were running out of time. The captain's worried sick, but that's the least of our problems. Our food and supplies are running out, and we don't have any choice but to land the ship here. Our supposed 3-day journey actually lasted a full month. To top things all off, it seemed like I was the only one sane enough to keep calm. Maria and Lily were constantly bickering, and James didn't stop writing whatever it was he was thinking about in that pointless notebook of his. After we land, James and I will search for anything that can be of use to us. Maria will have to hide the ship, and Lily wanted to go check our surroundings for any signs of trouble.
Once we landed at Apple Banks, we headed out to find our much-needed crew members. I first headed to a town called Deltopia. The crew marched off to restock our supplies and refuel while I strolled down the roads. I stopped to look at the prices of food. While I was browsing, I saw a figure dart down an alley. Government followers just don't dart down alleys. It's too suspicious. I followed them until I reached the end of the alleyway. She turned and saw me. She knew I was like her. I told her about our ship and our crew. I explained our idea. She thought we were crazy at first, but eventually she joined us. So if you don't mind, can you go to the city and find us some new recruits? I asked her, and she agreed.
It was lonely here, but more will eventually come.
Looks innocent enough, doesn't it? But sometimes there are dangers involved that never meet the eye. No matter where you meet a stranger, be careful if they are too friendly.
Riley, you are not a bad person because you're different. Being different in a world like this is a gift. Sometimes it's okay to be a little crazy. It reminds you that you're not dead yet. Be careful and be brave. You're going to need it out there. I can't tell you how long I've been here. The days just seem to move together. Gray, black, red, it's all the same. I used to hate being different, but now, trying to become one of these lifeless drones, it's just, I can't. I need humans. But it's hard to find something that shines when everything surrounding it covers it up. My hope is dwindling thin. The shuffling people and the depressed faces stare back with this want, this need to just disappear. As I look over the faces, I see these eyes. They're not dead and lifeless like the ones surrounding them. They have life, hope, and a need to be more than what they are. That is what I'm looking for. The people that are cast aside because they don't fit society's image. Not even an hour later, I have 3 people looking at me for guidance. I have 3 people looking at me, people that are willing to take a chance, to make a difference. A chef, a scientist, and an ordinary police officer. And the truth? We're willing to take the chance of death to win the right to live.
My parents died when I was 13. My mother was the leader of a resistance. My father was a hacker. I was different than my parents, though. There was darkness inside of me. I couldn't ignore the beast that was trapped inside. It latched on, and I couldn't shake it off, so I learned to live with my demons. It was when I'd expired all my options that I ran across a girl. Her name was Riley. She saw me at my lowest while I was hunting for food in an alley, yet she didn't look down on me. I do whatever it takes to survive, even if it means eating unlikely and so-called disgusting things. She understood that. We both had some rough times. Riley mentioned a ship ran by a band of rebels. They needed me, and I needed someone to count on. We found other recruits as we made our way to the airship. Elliot, a scientist, and Trevor, the constable. We were a group of misfits, so different from the rest of society. We each had something special to offer. I had an affinity for cooking. It was my creativity that worried the government. I used my mind. I was dangerous, which was why I fit in so well with the crew. I found a family.
Others will come to this land, some good, some with a bad past, but with a successful future.
If you look at me, you see someone who's different. I am different. You might see someone strong, but I don't see myself as strong. You might see someone rebellious. I am rebellious. You might see someone dumb, but I am not dumb. I am smarter than the average human being. I have an intellect that continues to grow and has been growing since I was almost 2. My parents are scientists, and because of that, I was forced to be a genius. But I'm not complaining about being smart. I'm complaining about people saying I have to be a certain way. My parents never thought I was good enough, so I left. I wanted to be where I can be my kind of smart. I wanted to be free. I wanted to live my own life and not wanting to be like everyone else in this society. I'm going to be myself, but that stuff's all in the past, because finally I found a place where I belong. The airship Katerina. No one cares if you're different here. They care about people, how this corrupt society treats them. I'm ready to help them protect these people with my mind. I'm ready to be the rebellious hero. I am ready.
My name is Trevor. Growing up, I had it all. My parents were never really home, but that was a good thing. As a child, I loved to explore places I wasn't welcome, like where the rebels were. I just got a job working with the exact people that I watched so closely for years. And even though I practically stalked some as a kid, I have no idea how to be a rebel. But I have to try. I have to find these rebels looking for recruits to go on some ship the government is watching. I was dressed for the part and worn nasty clothes, and I was pretty dirty too. Just as I was beginning to give up, I overheard 2 girls talking in an alley. They were talking about a ship, the Katerina, which is exactly what I wanted to hear. I followed them. They met a young man whose name I believe was Elliot. As they started walking away, I silently ran ahead of the trio. Once I gained their attention, I told them a fake past. I was a former cop and I could protect them. I told them that I had nothing left and nowhere to go. And after a little begging, they finally agreed to have me aboard. We headed off, back towards the Katerina. I am one step closer.
They never needed Cornelius anyway. He was never intended to be part of the crew. They need Sarah.
Captain's log, day 328. We have set course for a mountainous region. Our navigator thinks it will hide us better from the enemy. The ship is in perfect condition, and we are ready for flight. We set up and hope for a windy day tomorrow. Captain's log, day 334. The path is not as easy as it first seemed. A thick fog covers the mountains. The crew is working their hardest to keep us from colliding with the rocky cliffs. Hopefully, we will escape with our lives as we cross the Atlantic Ocean. Captain's log, day 387. We are halfway across the Atlantic. Food is becoming an issue. The chef is doing his best, though. Our navigator, Cornelius, committed suicide. He screamed and leapt off the ship. I just pray we can get to shore and find a new navigator before the worst happens.
It was like any other day. I went to find a new place to live. I then saw something. I had no clue what it was. I climbed through the treetops, and when I reached the top, it stopped. A ladder came down. It appeared to be a government ship. That would only mean trouble. They exited the ship, and I climbed on board. I ran into a room looking for something to destroy the ship with. They came back sooner than I expected. So I stayed in the room, hoping when night fell, I'd be able to slip off unnoticed.
There was someone on board. Be careful of what you say. Spread out and find them.
I pushed further into the room. I ended up knocking something over. They heard me. They burst in and crowded around me.
Who are you?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Tell us, or we'll think you're a threat. We'll dispose of you as we see fit.
Sarah, now let me go.
What were you doing on our ship?
I was going to destroy the so-called ship. You've brought nothing but hurt, and I wanted to end it.
We aren't part of the government.
Let me go. I am no use to you. I just want peace.
Before there can be peace, we must end the war. Do you have any special skills?
I can navigate.
Well, it's a good thing we're in need of a navigator then. Would you like to join us?
It appeared that I was wrong about this ship. What I originally thought to be a government ship was actually full of rebels. And the funny thing is, they wanted me to join. What did I say? Maybe you can figure it out. But there wouldn't be a story without a navigator, now would there?
The ship arrives, full with his crew, just as I predicted. I welcomed them to Ascala, and I told them my story. They didn't understand, and started asking questions. I look over at Trevor. He looks suspicious. He has something in his hand. I know who he is, and I know what he is. Captain Lily.
Chris, what do we do?
Play it cool. We'll have to get everything he brought. Get everything and destroy it.
It's time for bed.
Oh, tell me the rest.
I promise I will tell you the rest later.
Okay.
So long to all my friends, every one of them met tragic ends.
Some heroes have tragic endings, and this was ours. Our brave Captain Lily, at the young age of 17, died during the war. Our cunning first mate Maria, age 17, committed suicide. Our wise philosopher Jared, age 63, died of old age. Our sneaky communicator Riley, age 19, was caught by the government and executed. Our strange chef Harley, age 20, died of a horrible food disease. Our untrustworthy constable Trevor, age 23, was killed by the rebels. Our genius scientist Elliot, age 18, died in a chemical explosion trying to cure Harley's disease. Our street-smart navigator Sarah, age 19, got lost in the wilderness and died due to starvation. I never quite figured out what happened to Chris. Some say he went to the future so that he could stay young forever. But James, our journalist, lived on caring for his daughter, who reminded him of his once great crew.
The Katarina story is brought to you by Third Arm Medicine Cream. Third Arm Medicine Cream, making the world a better place for everyone. Don't you just hate waking up in the morning and wondering, man, I wish I had an extra hand to help me through the day? Well, now you can with the amazing Third Arm Medicine Cream. This unique substance will allow you to grow a third arm. Is that amazing or what? Just ask your parents. They said it's awesome. So go buy right now. Your life could be at risk without this Third Arm Medicine today. Warning, this product can cause dizziness, illness, dehydration, extreme narcissism, seizures, strokes, blood clots in the arteries, pains in the lower intestine, pains in the upper intestines, allergic reactions, diarrhea, starvation, suffocation, depression, thoughts of suicide, and death. The risk of using Third Arm Medicine Cream increases if you are pregnant, was pregnant, or ever plan on being pregnant, or if you are above the age of 13 or below the age of 12. Ask your doctor if you should take Third Arm Medicine today, or if you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, severe allergies, or you take any other medicine, or if you've ever seen Bigfoot. Stop taking Third Arm Medicine, never! If you don't retake the medicine every 12 hours, you suffer from fatal heart attacks. This will soon become irrelevant to the addiction that it comes with. Please note, Third Arm Medicine does not actually grant a third arm. It's just radioactive waste we refined, hoping it would do something cool for its users. Any lawsuits against us will imminently become void if you have ever taken this medicine or have ever considered it. Don't actually contact us unless you want our product. We only want your money. Call 1-800-003. Why did you call?
The day started out like any other. Lana went to check the mail. She was expecting a package from her mother containing baby supplies. Suddenly, a car pulled up behind her. She was dragged into the vehicle to a place hidden in the shadows. Lana was numb. She felt nothing. No pain, no fear, no will to survive. She only wanted to protect her child. Gabriel would never find them. The three wouldn't be a family. The moonlight glistens off the sharp blade, temporarily blinding the trembling woman. The longer she waits on a rescuer to save her, the more her hope dissipates. They were going to die in there. She was going to lose what she loved most. Gabriel was gone. There was no hope that they would be together again. She was hidden in the darkness, invisible from wandering eyes, which is what they wanted. They wanted her to themselves. They continued their ministrations, and Lana was brought closer to the darkness. She blacked out, leaving her defenseless in their hands. Gabriel found out about Lana's kidnapping from the whispers of the dead. He wasn't sure where she was, but he needed to find her. He thought of Lana, her long caramel hair and bright blue eyes. He thought of her laugh and her smile. He thought of their time together and their happiness. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in an unusual place. Screams bounced off the walls and maniacal laughter came from the shadows. It sent chills down his spine and goosebumps rose on his arms. He walked towards the noises, hoping to find Lana. Gabriel looked upon the scene in horror. The woman he once knew and loved wouldn't be coming back to him. A blood trail led from the dead woman to a hallway. Gabriel had nothing to lose, so he took a chance and walked into the shadows, unsure of what was to come of him.
A giant wave came splashing down on poor Jinx and Boomer. They swam as fast as their little fishy tails could carry them. They darted away from the enormous circle monster. Jinx stopped short and stared quickly at the approaching beast. It was a big, round, colorful animal that looked like it had been filled with air. It did not swim, but rather floated atop the water. "What is that?" he yelled. Boomer turned around and grabbed Jinx's fin and swam as fast as he could. "Why do you care? It's chasing us, so just swim, fool!" The round creature skidded to a stop atop the water. It floated there for a moment. Boomer swam up to investigate. He tapped it with his tail. "I think it died," concluded Boomer. Jinx swam up to get a better look at the monster. He stared up at it and pondered. While he was thinking, he noticed the water starting to stir once again. Boomer swished his tail and swam to the surface. He was horrified to see a little people baby running wildly towards the pond. "Jinx! It's not a monster! It's that people baby's toy! Swim for your life!" Jinx and Boomer swam as far away as they could before the people baby started crashing through the water. Its loud cooing was terrifying to them. It screeched weird sounds. "Mommy, look! Fishies! I'm going to catch the pretty fishies! Look, Mommy!" Jinx looked over at Boomer, who was quite panicked. "Hey, Boomer, what's a fishies? What is that people baby talking about?" Boomer did not give the answer that Jinx had expected. Boomer turned tail and started swimming. "The people baby is evil. Swim away from the people baby. It wants to eat us." Jinx swam fast, but in the wrong direction. He was so bewildered that he had lost direction and was heading straight towards the people baby. Boomer glanced behind him and yelled at the top of his gills, "Jinx, turn around!" Jinx had heard him and turned, but now he would not stop turning. He was just going in circles. Boomer muttered to himself, "Son of a fish!" "Jinx, for heaven's sake, stop spinning!" Jinx darted off to the side. The people baby bounded after him. The waves that it created when it ran made it hard for Jinx to make his escape. Soon the toddler caught up with Jinx. It roughly grabbed him and pulled him out of the water. Boomer cried after him, "Jinx, hold on!" A wave sent him spinning back. Jinx looked around wildly with terror. "Boomer!" Boomer swirled to face the people baby. "Jinx!" Welcome to Cirque du Fear. I am Jeff, the scorekeeper. Not important. But may I now pronounce the host, Nebula Mist.
Today, we will be testing you on the show that we are interrupting. So I do hope you're paying attention. Okay. Will the contestants be able to clear their minds and answer the questions correctly? Or will they go home, defeated and doomed to relive their devastating loss? Jeff, would you please introduce us to the teams?
Time to meet the teams. And Nebula, you are in the way. On my right, we have the Roach Munchers. And on my left, we have the Toad Faces.
Good enough. Teams, please select a team captain who, in the event of a tie, will answer for their team in the sudden death round. They will probably fail you and win your team the greatest consequence for their lack of concentration and inability to ring the bell faster than their opponents. Oh well, select a captain. We don't have all day.
All right, Roach Munchers, who is your miserable captain?
Me.
Great!
Yeah. Toad Faces, who is your captain?
Ta-da! Even worse! Let's move on with the game. Maybe you can redeem yourselves. There will be 2 rounds, each with 3 questions. Each team must ring in to answer and will have 7 seconds to do so. If you are wrong, the other team can answer and steal. Refrain from getting rowdy, as it'll get you nowhere. Jeff and I have the right to award or deduct points and will declare a winner if needed. Round 1 begins now. Earlier in the show, Harley mentioned her parents. What was her father's job?
Hacker?
Correct! Oh well. Okay, James is what to the crew? That was a close call. Who do you think, Jeff?
I think the Toad Faces got that one.
All right, so what's your answer?
Journalist.
Correct. I think you wrote that on your wrist, though. Sarah was the crew's second what?
Navigator?
Correct! Jeff, what is the round 1 score?
Well, Nebula, the Toad Faces and my personal favorite only have 1. But the Roach Munchers are now in the lead with 2.
Yay, they're my personal favorite! I'm in charge. What was Lana's husband's name?
Gabriel?
Correct! I'm glad you like horror, because they wouldn't have got that right. What did the cream in the second ad grant? We'll go with him.
Third arm.
Correct. I bet you which one you had right now, so maybe you can have more of a chance to ring in, you know? Okay. Last question. What were the Katarina crew members rebelling against? You rung in before I asked the question, so it automatically goes to them.
The government.
Correct. Jeff, what is the final score?
Nebula, you are in the way again.
I want to be here.
Well, the final score is Toad Faces. Toad Faces 3, tied with Roach Munchers 3.
All right. I believe this calls for a tiebreaker. Team captains, please step forward. This question will determine the winner. In the fish story, what were the 2 names of the fish?
Jinx and Boomer?
Correct! You won the game! The winners may claim their prize, and the losers must accept a fee and their punishment. You fools couldn't even manage to answer the questions correctly, so I do hope you can put those masks on. Yay! All right. As a consequence of your utter failure, you must also perform the dance of the chicken. Tune in next week for another degrading yet epic Battle of the Wits.
Miss, a letter came for you. I never got letters. I'm insane! How could I get letters? But it holds true as I open the porcelain white paper, my hand shaking faster than my heart. My dear Bella, September 5th, 1905, you admitted yourself into the psych ward. Every corner you turned and every dark crevice made you shiver with fear. You swore on your life that you saw something so terrifying that it drove you crazy. Well, my dear Bella, I'd just like to point out something that we have in our little contract. You are mine, and you have put a crack in our agreement. You decided to hide, to live out the rest of your life with people that will only make this easier. I don't know what you were thinking. Hiding is not enough to keep me away. I promised I'd always find you, and my dear, I have. Room 846, 7th hall to the left. That little gray cell is quite the little comfort blanket, isn't it, my dear? With a whoosh and a bang. No, wrong one. Okay. Bella, I never intended to hurt you, but you disobeyed. I told you to get rid of the one thing that taints your beautiful soul. Only then could you belong to me. As you're reading this, my dear, I will be watching you. You didn't think I'd let you slip through my grasp once again, did you? As you lay on the ground, your cold, dead angel wings behind you, my eyes watch. You, my Bella, are just as broken and as lifeless as me. Sincerely, your angel. I turned, slowly terrified to see what I knew was there. The angel of death in all of his horrible glory. This is the end.
Aspen, I would love to tell you that you got everything out of life that you wanted, but I can't. Life is hard. Take comfort in knowing that you get things done because that is the secret to our success. Life isn't about free rides. By the time that you're 30, you have accomplished a lot. Maybe not everything that you wanted, but you should still be proud. Don't be disappointed because you couldn't handle something. It happens. You will learn to overcome that self-pity and turn that into something great. You are a pharmacologist who makes prescriptions to better lives. We always wanted to be a published author. It happens eventually. It changes your life and opens new doors that you never imagined. Writing books has always been exciting, but that feeling is only intensified by the fact that our work means something. I know that you don't think that you make much of a difference now, but you will. You are a scientist who spends hours in the lab, reaches a dead end, and then tries harder again tomorrow. You are an author who sends shivers down your readers' spines with your terrifying words that just seem to keep people up at night. You are the wife who fully supports her husband, and he doesn't hesitate to do the same. The one thing I want you to get out of this is you should be proud of yourself because I know I am. Love, future you.
Dear Brianna, this is going to sound insane, but I'm you, from the future. We're 30 now, married with a little one or two, but I'll keep that a surprise for now. Your life isn't perfect, nor will it ever be. This isn't a Disney fairy tale. You're going to have to deal with people, and people suck. You got to keep your head up, learn to keep your thoughts to yourself, and when to speak your mind. I know you're terrified, but break through that wall of fear and take a chance at being yourself. Stop hiding. It's pointless. You have so many dreams and so much curiosity. I know you love the security of hiding, but the outside world isn't as scary as you think. Pull yourself out of that fandom-obsessed internet palace that you call home and follow your dreams. I would love to say that you don't hit any bumps in the road, but I can't lie to myself. There are always downs on the roller coaster of life. Those times you feel like you can't go on, unfortunately, don't go away. You still fight the same demons you always have. And you do it. You will beat them. One way or another, you will get through it. And when you do, you will see how strong you are. You did it. And you did a dang good job. Thank you for getting us where we are today. Sincerely, your future.
Okay, listen up. I've come here from the year 2030. A lot of things have changed since 2015. All cars are electrical since there's no more fossil fuels. Great job. And cancer has been cured, at least for now. Anyway, let me tell you a bit about your future self. Okay, our job is currently playing Elle Woods in Legally Blonde. Yes, I know we are not blonde. When we are not on Broadway, we're working as Liam Payne and Al Horn's assistant. I hate to tell you this, but One Direction has broken up for like 10 years now. Liam and Al have been world-renowned record producers, and they're currently located in New York. They call their company NEOM. Corny, I know. I have been working for their company 7 years today. I have enjoyed working for them, even though sometimes I should pull my hair out. Mom and Dad come to visit us in New York every once in a while. They still live in a house in Burnsville. When you left for New York, they adopted your cousin Ashlyn. Your brother Ashton has become a pro basketball player. He lives in Miami with his wife and his little girl Jordan. Your brother Alex is a minister in the next city over. He lives with his wife and his 2 kids, Xavier and Amanda. Ashlyn is now a senior in Asheville Christian Academy. She's hoping to be a famous writer like your friends Victoria Valerie and Aspen Higgins. I have some advice for you. Okay, think before you do anything, and especially before you open your big mouth. Remember to take a deep breath when you're stressed out. Be kind to everyone, even though you wish you could hit them with a stick. Don't be afraid to be in the spotlight. Be you no matter what people say, and love yourself when you feel like no one else can. I want to wish you the best of luck. Lord knows you're going to need it. Enjoy the rest of your life.
I can't exactly explain what happened. It just kind of felt like years flew by all of a sudden. Days, weeks, years, all of them just went by in a week for me, and suddenly I'd grown much older. I was 16 yesterday, and now I'm 30. Next time I'll definitely think twice before eating mysterious pills labeled "do not eat," whatever that means. Anyway, after contacting some old and apparently new friends, it appears that I've become myself 14 years in the future. This isn't just something that I can play off either. It took quite some time before I could re-assimilate into society. Apparently, when I turned 21, Russia owned the world's largest petting zoo, and I worked there for 8 years. Who knew? When I turned 30, I moved back to the States to finish my college studies to become a vet. That being said, I immediately dropped out due to the fact that I had no idea what I was doing anymore. I never thought I would be saying this, but I have now found a way to communicate with my past self 14 years ago. This person speaking to you is you, just older and with less hair. You'd think balding wouldn't be as big of a problem as it once was, but I guess that's just my luck. A bit of advice you should follow: don't go to Russia. The first year you're there, we suffer from a deadly frostbite, and well, let's just say we don't have a left thumb anymore. Instead, you should go to Cairo and work at the world's second largest petting zoo. Oh, and be careful because you do develop an allergy to baby otters. It's not bad advice what I give you today, and I know that you'll be skeptical about all this, but please listen to what I've told you. You will not regret it. Sincerely, your future self.
Okay, time has flown by. I am now 30. That sounded a lot better in my head. We are officially a hobo. Good job. Just kidding. I'm actually a best-selling author. I was finally able to get my book published. I'm still working on others, but they will be published. My people adore my writing. I have really learned some things that could have helped me a lot when I was 15. The first thing is that I don't know anything. Wait, did I just say that? Never mind. I thought I knew everything, but apparently I don't. Another thing that would have been very helpful is that the fact that not everyone is going to care. It may seem like the whole entire universe might care, but they don't. Don't you dare tell anyone we admitted this. Okay, maybe we can tell Miss Bennett and our parents. Maybe. Sometimes I really wish I was still 15, but other times I'm glad I'm 30. I really enjoyed high school, but I really don't want to go back. Well, better head back now. Wait, whoa. Let me tell you one more thing. You still have no life. But that's good. It gives us more time to read and write. That's a good thing until you start seeing them in your room. So, before you turn 30, please get a life. Anyway, I wish you to enjoy the rest of your life. See you soon.
Dear 15-year-old self, I was just going to tell you you have nothing to worry about for your future. You have a job as a teacher and have a family as well. You have everything going exactly how your life would want it to be. You went to Appalachian State University, but then you realized you want to go to Duke University instead. You're on the cheer teams at both universities, and also after you finish school in 2028, you're offered a place on a cheer athletics team. Even though you love cheerleading and wanted to take the offer, you didn't take it, and actually opened up your own gym and had an undefeatable team. Besides being a cheer coach, you became a teacher and coached at a middle school in California. You have an amazing life. You have a family of 4. You, your husband, and your 2 kids, who actually became cheerleaders and played softball too. You can't complain how your life was going because it is going amazing. And your husband is a doctor who helps people in the military get back up to stand on their feet and maybe go back to the military if they wanted to. This kind of summarizes your future life. I've learned to never give up on yourself and believe in yourself, and you can get far in life. And right now, you're on the right path to a successful future. Good luck, younger me. Sincerely, you.
Finally, I had to wait 30 years, but I made it. Time travel is now possible. I hop into my new time machine and head back in time. My goal, to find my 15-year-old self and tell her to stop some stupid things before it happens. My first stop was the year of my birth. Whoops, too far back. The next stop was 20 years later. I slow down near my 20-year-old self. I poke my head out the window and shout, "Dump Steve! He's cheating on you!" I close the window and head back in time again. Finally, I park outside of my old school. The 15-year-old me strolled out of the building. She looked at me and said, "Hey, I was just writing a paper on you." I remember that paper. "Whatever you do, don't say anything about me being here. The class will think you're crazy." "Oh, all right," she said cheerfully. "I'm here to tell you to forget that one guy. He likes someone else. When I was you, I spent all my years here fawning over him. Just don't make that mistake again." She looked around suspiciously. "I don't know what you're talking about." I grabbed her and I slapped her face. "You know who!" Okay. Just calm down. She stared at me. "Do I ever get married?" I shook my head. "No, but because I don't get married, I was able to discover the secret of time travel." I hand it to her. "Don't open it until you are 31, though." She nodded. "Anything else I should know?" "Yeah, apply for the zipline job. You'll get it. And good gosh, girl, cut down on the cake." She scowled at me. "I can eat cake if I want to. My life." I growled at her. "No, you can't, because you really let yourself go in your mid-20s. Rolling our eyes, she replied, Fine. One last thing. When you meet Steve, sock him in the face." She looked up at me. "Okay, you gave me some advice. Now it's time for me to give you some. Don't forget to have some fun in the future, all right?" "Okay," I said, stepping back into my time machine. My life had been changed for the better now. I came back into my time and waltzed into a new world.
Dear 15-year-old self, this is you. Well, your 30-year-old self to be exact. I'm writing to you so you can know how your future is going to be and what decisions you need to make if you want your life to be the way it is now. The first thing you have to do is keep writing. I'm telling you this because in the future, you're a best-selling author who lives in Los Angeles, California. Just don't let that go to your head. If you do, well, let's just say that's how you lost your first contract with a publisher. Another thing you need to do is make sure that you don't take criticism to heart. Several people give you criticism about your stories, and you learn to deal with it. Oh, and don't give up trying to be on The Voice. You do make it to the blind auditions when you're 22, but you don't get a chair. Luckily, you do get to take a picture with the coaches as memorabilia, and Gwen Stefani gives you her phone number. Now for some more things you learn as you grow. You learn how to control being hyper. Mostly learning not to stay up so late and eat a lot of sugar. Another thing that you learn is to listen to people and not always talk about yourself. You always knew to be considerate and to listen to others, but now you're a little more considerate to them. Also, you learn not to procrastinate and to always get things turned in on time, which is something you definitely needed to learn a long time ago. Yeah. See, all these things that you learn as you get older have helped you reach your goals that you wanted to achieve at 15. Don't give up on your dreams and don't doubt yourself for 1 minute. If you doubt, you won't achieve one thing that I've said you achieve. You won't be an author or live in LA or get to audition for The Voice. I cannot stress this enough. Do not doubt yourself! Keep dreaming and believe in what you want to accomplish in your future. Because trust me, you're going to love your future. I promise. Sincerely, 30-year-old you.
With a whoosh and a bang, I hit the ground. Once again, I'm left completely clueless as to where. I was in the middle of my cousin's wedding. Stupid time travel. I look up, curious to see where the universe has put me, but all I see is trees. Oh, wait a minute. Is that... I'm guessing I made some type of sound because the person whipped around and froze in her spot. Oh my God, it's me. We just stand staring at each other for a good minute till past me moves backward. Everything just seems to click, and I know why time sucked me back to this moment. Okay, obviously you're wondering what the heck is going on, and I promise it's not as crazy as it sounds. I'm future you from 2030. Her eyes widen, but I hold up a hand, silencing the roaring thoughts racing through her head. Before you freak, just let me explain. Okay? She nods and sits down, and I follow suit. I begin explaining why future her is here, how it's possible, blah, blah, blah. So let me get this straight. You're here from 2030 to give me advice? I nod, biting my lip, and she lets out a big breath. Okay, what's the advice? Ah, crud. I'm supposed to know what to say? I thought she was just supposed to ask me questions and I'd answer them with elderly advice. Well, get it together. Give advice to past you. Well, okay, I guess I'll start on me. Well, I'm 30, but that's kind of a give. She smiles at me and I laugh, both of us saying the same thing. I know exactly what you mean. Chuckling, I continue. Anyway, you know the basics, so I'll start on who I am. Well, I work at a coffee shop, writing on the side when I have time. I live in a small apartment in New York, and I'm afraid you're still terribly awkward when you get older. We both laugh, and she groans. Dang it! I was hoping to get rid of that. I smile and take her hands. Tori, your outlook on life is so far from the truth, and I know you know that. When you're a teenager, life sucks. Not going to try and sugarcoat it. But it isn't always like that. Things get better, slowly and painfully, but better all the same. It's not a bad life, sweetie, just a bad day. I smile and stand brushing off my dress. Well, my dear, I believe that's it. It's all up to you now. She starts to say something, but the whooshing takes over, and before I know it, I'm back at the wedding. Let's pray I didn't mess up this time.
Dear 15-year-old me, I am now 30 and an undercover agent. My life is pretty good right now. The only thing I wished I had done was take the time and enjoy the little things. I never sat back to watch the sun rise and set. I never took the time to watch the ways of the world and take in the beauty God has put here for us. Now I have 2 boys, 2 girls, and adopted a full black baby, just like we said. We know that our life isn't always going to be what we want. Yeah, things might be rough, hard, and painful, but trust me, you will get through it. Our dad died, and we never had a dad figure, no one to go to for advice about guys or just get a hug because we felt down. We never got to feel the embrace of a father's love. When things seemed to get better, everything fell to pieces, and as soon as we started putting those pieces back together and seeing a little bit of happiness, something tragic happens. Our mom died, and gosh, that ripped every bit of happiness we had left. Things are not so good for you right now. Depression kicked in, and we sat in our room and cried all day. In order for us to make the pain leave, we slept the day away. We got in so much trouble. Our aunt and uncle don't understand why we shut everyone out, and they don't understand why I'm being this way. But when you don't have a father or a mother, you're going to shut everyone out. But 15-year-old us didn't want to live with an aunt and uncle. You just started rebelling. Your uncle called the cops on you. For what? For fighting back for once. We were standing up for what we believed in, and what we wanted was a new home. You are 15. Yeah, you're going to have relationship problems, but you put up with it. You do pretty good with dealing with problems. Advice for you is to give me advice, because now I can't deal with things. I'm short-tempered. The only advice I could give you is take a deep breath, buckle in, and enjoy the ride, because you're not done. You have more to go through. Like the decision on whether you want to move with your aunt in Nashville and hope to find happiness. Good luck, and choose wisely.
We, the defendants, place our fate in the hands of you, the jury. But before we leave to await your decision, we leave you with this one last idea. Many stories come with a soundtrack, and the soundtrack to my personal part of this quest is the Macarena. It represents our good memories and the times we spent together. It is an old but classic song that can bring us together in the end.
Macarena.